We're back with part two on our lecture on language and culture. We're looking at sociolinguistics. This is how we use language in different social contexts. We know that we don't use language the same when we're in different social contexts. Sociolinguistics and cultural linguistics are related, and they both look at how language and culture work together. We know that language and how we use it is influenced by things such as age, gender, social economic status, profession, ethnicity, class, religion, education, and even region. If we think about in the United States, for example, the various dialects that you can find around the country, a southern dialect. You can find dialects in California, dialects on the eastern seaboard, many different ways in which region affects language. A practice that has gained a lot of attention in more recent years is code switching. And that's the practice of adapting one's language depending upon the social situation. It used to be that code switching referred to people who spoke more than one language and how they would switch back and forth between languages, often searching for a word in a particular language that more clearly expressed their intent. But now we've expanded that to also talk about how people change the way they speak in different social situations. We know that you don't speak to a person in authority in the same way that you would speak to very close friends, or how you interact and speak around your parents versus someone that you have an intimate relationship with. And this is what sociolinguistics is concerned with. Where and how do you code switch? Another kind of sociolinguistics is concerned with our use of colloquialisms, or the use of ordinary or familiar words or phrases in everyday language. Here are some examples of phrases derived from baseball, but we use them in everyday language, and we might not even have thought about it before. She threw me a curve. You're way off base. You're batting 1,000 or 500 or zero so far. He went to bat for me. He has 2 strikes against him. That's way out in left field. He drives me up the wall. Nonverbal communication is extremely important because up to 70% of the messages that we send and receive are done so without words. Nonverbal communication includes everything from hand gestures, posture, touching, facial expressions, eye contact, how we use space, how close or far we stand apart from a person to convey meaning, sense, and gait, or how we walk. All can be ways that convey messages, sometimes when we intend to do so, and many times when we don't intend to do so. Think about the last time you saw a person you perceived they were mad because maybe they crossed their arms, or their facial expression indicated that they were not pleased at a situation. I'm going to take a quick look at body language around the world, another form of non-verbal communication. I'm going to use different parts of the body to show how they can differ in various cultures. The head. Usually nodding the head up and down can mean agreement or approval, but we know that for Bulgarians and Greeks, that nodding the head up and down signifies a negative. The eyes. In the West, a sign of being trustworthy, and something that we oftentimes teach people is to make strong eye contact. In the West, in Spain, Greece, and the Arab countries, this is important. But the Finns and Japanese find that staring and seeking eye contact is a bit embarrassing, and it's something that's only done at the beginning of a conversation. And other than that, they usually will look away. Ears. The Portuguese tug their earlobes to indicate tasty food, but in Italy, this has a sexual connotation. And in Spain, it means someone's not paying for drinks. The nose. A hearty nose blow into his handkerchief is typical in the West, but in Japanese culture, blowing one's nose in public is frowned upon. Tapping your nose in England means confidential, but in Italy, it means watch out. The lips. Some cultures, the Filipino, Native American, Puerto Rican, and many Latin American cultures, use their lips to point instead of a finger. In the West, people often kiss when they meet or when they say goodbye, and in many Asian countries, it's considered too intimate of an action to be displayed in public. The arms. Many cultures, such as in Italy, people use their arms, they wave them around freely when they're talking. You can also see that in the United States, but Northern Europeans don't have a high tolerance for a lot of gesturing with the arms. They see it as being insincere or overly dramatic. In Japan, using broad gestures is considered impolite. The hands are an interesting part of the body because they can communicate so much. The American goodbye wave can be interpreted as the signal for no in many parts of Europe and Latin America. The Italian goodbye wave can be interpreted by Americans as come here. The American come here gesture can be seen as an insult in most Asian countries. In Malaysia, it's taboo to point with your index finger, but you can point with your thumb. The thumbs up that's used in many cultures, none more so than Brazil, however. That signal is used everywhere, but it's a rude signal in some Islamic countries, Sardinia and Greece, and can signify the number 1 in France. Legs. People commonly sit with their legs crossed in North America and some European countries, but in countries in Asia and in the Middle East, it's considered disrespectful because it causes you to show the sole of your shoe. New information technology has also changed the ways in which we communicate. Now we talk about things such as tweeting, instant messaging, direct messaging, and other things as a result of the technology that we have available today. We've changed our expectations of when people should respond to us in cases of messages. For example, a text message. If you text someone and don't get an immediate response or a relatively quickly response, we can become concerned or even irritated when it doesn't happen in a given time span. Even now, replying to emails, where there once was a lag time, many people, because of the availability of emails on their phones, often expect a more prompt response. Language and communication and culture are very, very intertwined and very important aspects of our daily lives, and this has been an opportunity to learn more about it.